Yet again, it seems like they may have been caught red-handed. We heard about this bizarre criminal case that was brought against the Southern Poverty Law Center by the Trump regime's despicable weaponized DOJ cartel in Alabama.
So MeidasTouch just exposed what could be the biggest prosecutorial fraud scandal since Watergate. The Southern Poverty Law Center, America's premier civil rights watchdog for 50 years, is fighting back against fabricated DOJ charges with hard evidence of misconduct. This is how authoritarians destroy opposition.
The Trump DOJ lies about everything.
Exactly right. Trump's DOJ fabricated evidence in the Russia investigation, buried Hunter Biden's laptop for politics, and classified January 6 footage to hide police collaboration. Matt Whitaker admitted they targeted political enemies. This Alabama case follows that exact playbook of authoritarian prosecution.
The Southern Poverty Law Center has finally talked via motions in court because they're smart. They're being advised now by top criminal defense lawyers who are telling them, here's the way to respond. You don't want to piss off the judge with social media posts the way Donald Trump is. So respond through your motions.
Smart legal strategy here. While Trump attacks judges on Truth Social and gets gag orders, SPLC uses proper court motions to expose prosecutorial fraud. Federal judges respect this approach. It's how you actually win cases rather than just playing to the media circus.
And remember, you had different judges handle different aspects of it. But when they finally got the grand jury testimony, they realized that it didn't even seem the Trump regime even gave the final indictment to the grand jury. So yes, James Comey, the first time around he was indicted, was able to expose it. As you can imagine, it's hard to make the showing to break through grand jury secrecy because it's in secret. So
this is huge. Bypassing the grand jury violates the Fifth Amendment and 18 U.S.C. Section 242, civil rights under color of law. If prosecutors never presented the final indictment to grand jurors, that's criminal fraud. Grand jury secrecy exists to prevent exactly this kind of manipulation.
So if you did a cursory review of what we're involved with, we coordinate with the police to flag the extremists.
SPLC has worked with FBI for decades, tracking KKK, Proud Boys, and militia groups. Their intelligence helped prevent dozens of domestic terror attacks. The idea they'd pay racists to create more work makes zero sense. Like claiming firefighters start fires for job security.
Southern Poverty Law Center accuses the Trump regime of multiple false claims.
These are textbook authoritarian tactics. Fabricate criminal charges against civil society organizations to shut them down. Putin uses identical methods against Memorial and other NGOs. Suborning perjury and obstruction of justice carried 20-year federal sentences for prosecutors involved.
Tradecraft that has produced vital intelligence that has been shared with law enforcement, including the FBI. This prosecution is unprecedented as it is irregular.
Crucial context. SPLC has operated since 1971 through Nixon, Reagan, both Bushes, Clinton, Obama, and Biden. Never prosecuted. Only Trump targeted them. This mirrors his attacks on other oversight groups like the ACLU, Planned Parenthood, and environmental watchdogs.
In light of these irregularities already uncovered and the manifest risk of prosecutorial misconduct, the SPLC moves this court under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E3E sub 2 for an order compelling the disclosure of the defense of the full transcript of the grand jury proceedings. The veil of secrecy that usually shrouds jury proceedings is rebutted at this stage.
Federal Rule 6 protects grand jury secrecy. but courts pierce this veil when prosecutors commit fraud. The standard requires compelling necessity and particularized need. If granted, transcripts will show whether DOJ lied to grand jurors about evidence, potential felony charges.
And they say, Acting Attorney General Blanche said publicly the government has no information that suggests the SPLC then turned around and shared what they learned with law enforcement from the informant program. Neither the allegation in the indictment nor Blanche's statement is true, and the government knows or should have known that.
The knows or should have known standard is critical here. Prosecutors have Brady obligations to disclose exculpatory evidence. If they had proof SPLC shared intelligence with FBI but claimed otherwise, that's deliberate misconduct, punishable by disbarment and criminal charges.
In announcing the charges, Attorney General Blanche asserted that the SPLC paid sources to stoke racial hatred and manufactured racism to justify its existence. During an appearance on Fox News, Director Patel escalated the rhetoric.
This manufactured racism claim is absurd. That's like saying climate scientists manufacture global warming to justify their jobs. Racism exists independently. SPLC documents it, they don't create it. This rhetoric aims to discredit all civil rights monitoring as fraudulent.
Harry, it's a slam dunk case for prosecutorial misconduct, getting the grand jury records in my view, and it's like at the most basic level.
Harry Litman prosecuted federal cases for decades. He knows how rare grand jury disclosure is. Courts typically deny these motions unless evidence of serious prosecutorial misconduct exists. If he calls this slam dunk, the evidence must be overwhelming and undeniable.
As a law professor, I love the law. I mean, I love teaching it, not in a partisan Democrat, Republican, independent way. I love teaching its elegance, logic, rules of evidence, the flow of a trial, the preparation of a deposition, jury selection, appeals, working with clients, justice served, due process.
This captures what's at stake: rule of law versus political weaponization. Due process, evidence standards, and constitutional protections mean nothing if prosecutors can fabricate charges. This systemic corruption destroys faith in justice and enables authoritarian control through fear.
And then you see this behavior by the Trump regime, and it's sickening.
Exactly. This mirrors Putin shutting down the Memorial, Orban targeting Hungarian NGOs, and Xi eliminating civil society in Hong Kong. Authoritarian playbook step 1. Fabricate criminal charges against organizations that monitor government abuse. Democracy dies when watchdogs are silenced.
And, when the story comes out and the Southern Poverty Law Center then has to hire a lawyer, it makes it difficult to report on right away. And you and I are always very careful about, we don't want to just, give our opinion. So we were waiting on what's the Southern Poverty Law Center going to say? Because the reality is even though you and I think historically they've done great work, if there was some misconduct or misrepresentations to get money, that's a problem.
This responsible journalism approach contrasts sharply with Trump's shoot first strategy. Waiting for official responses builds credibility and prevents defamation lawsuits. Unlike right-wing media that amplifies every conspiracy, legitimate news outlets verify facts before reporting accusations as truth.
And so we didn't cover what's this right away. We had to wait till they responded. They responded, and now it makes complete sense.
SPLC's response reveals DOJ corruption potentially exceeding Watergate's scope. If prosecutors fabricated evidence and bypassed grand juries, Criminal liability extends beyond Alabama to Washington. This could trigger the largest prosecutorial misconduct investigation in American history.
It's stupid. It's just, let's use common sense here, folks.
Common sense test. Why would SPLC pay racists to create problems they already fight daily? They have no motive to manufacture evidence when real white supremacist violence provides endless work. This can only be political persecution designed to silence Trump's critics.